We're going to start our Arete lesson 2. Let's be calm, have a breathe, and with a pause, let's move on and let's start with the opening prayer. May the wisdom of the all-compassionate one so shine within our hearts and minds this day, that we may be enlightened in our acts, thoughts, and deeds. So shall we learn to be true, good and happy, and attain the spiritual peace. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Welcome, students. Firstly, let's recall the previous lesson, and I would like to ask some of you to share what you have learned in lesson 1. So you can answer and submit those to me on PM. And then let's move on to lesson 2. Discovering one's talents and skills. Starting with a quote from Lou Holtz. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you do it. So students, answer and submit about this. What are your insights or points of view to this quote of Lou Holtz? Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do it. And your attitude determines how well you do it. What are your insights or points of view to this quote? Share in your own words. And another one to answer and submit, different. Students, let me ask you, what talents do you have? So I want you to write down what your talents are and put them in your PM to me. And let's remember to let others share your talents in the class, and also let them share their talents in the class. Now let's read the text on page 15. You can listen and follow on the screen. At this stage in your life, the physical, social, intellectual, and emotional changes happening in you can actually help you discover your talents. Each of you is gifted with a unique and special talent that not everyone possesses. You may have noticed that you can do certain things with ease, while some of your classmates struggle doing them, and vice versa. These talents, if further developed and used properly, can make this world a better place. In the poem Desiderata, you read that there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Although you must always seek to develop your talents and skills and excel in them, be humble to recognize that you cannot be the best in everything, or brag that you are better than others. Let us look at the Balahadia family and discover how young persons can use their talents and skills for the betterment of the community. So there's your theme, how young persons can use their talents and skills for the betterment of the community. That's a very important point. So it's a mini performance task here to read this, pages 15 to 17. You can follow it here on the screen. Please read the story, Young Filipino Achievers, on pages 15 to 17. It was a lovely Sunday morning. The Balahadia ladies were busy preparing breakfast. Nanay Mares cooked the tapa and sinangag, while Ate Fatima prepared the sunny side-up eggs. Enrico, the bunso, and his tatay Juan decided to buy a pandesal from Mang Jose's bakery, which was just across the street. While walking, tatay Juan said, "How's school, Enrico?" "Oh, school is all right, although I find it silly that I have to memorize so many things just to get high grades," Enrico said. Enrico replied. What do you mean, Enrico? Tatai Juan asked. Well, for our upcoming science quiz tomorrow, I have to memorize so many terms and I just cannot see their purpose in my life. To be honest, I have not even reviewed yet, Enrico said. Over the page, to page 16. Tatai Juan made a little nod. Suddenly he was deep in thought. After a few meters, Enrico and his father arrived at Mang Jose's bakery. Magandang umaga, greeted Mang Jose. Magandang umaga din po, Enrico greeted him back. Tatai Juan noticed that aside from the freshly baked pan de sal on the bakery counter, there was another batch of pan de sal beside the pugong. Mang Jose, what kind of bread is that beside the oven? They look like pan de sal, but they have small green specks. Tatai Juan asked the kind baker. Ooh, that is what we call malunggay pan de sal. Should be pan de sal. Aside from the usual ingredients for pan de sal, we added finely ground malunggay leaves. It actually tastes the same, but healthier, Mang Jose replied. Tatai Juan smiled and bought enough malunggay pan de sal for the family. Mang Jose happily put the malunggay pan de sal in a brown paper bag. The baker asked them if they want the brown paper bag to be placed in a plastic bag, but Enrico politely refused. The brown paper bag will be enough, Mang Jose. Salamat po, Enrico said. Enrico remembered in his science class how plastic bags take a long time to decompose, which adds to the volume of landfills. Plastic bags also clog the waterways, which results in flooding. Sadly, when thrown in the sea or oceans, floating plastic bags are mistaken for jellyfish by marine creatures like the Philippine pawikan. When the sea turtles eat the plastic, they choke and die. After a few minutes of walking, Tatai Juan and Enrico arrived home and set the pan de sal on the dining table. The family sat around the table, said a short prayer, and started to eat. Thank you, Nanay Marez and Auntie Fatima, for the tapsilog, Enrico said. You're welcome, Enrico. By the way, the pan de sal tastes good, although I'm wondering what the green specks are, Nanay Marez replied. Malunggay, Tatai Juan and Enrico said at the same time. The father and son looked at each other and laughed. Mang Jose said that it is healthier, Enrico said. Well, it should be. I've read in the newspaper that a high school student from Cebu named Arianwan Roland discovered the tumor-curing properties of malunggay seeds. Tumor is cancer. She was even acknowledged in the 2016 Intel International Science and Engineering Fair and received $1,000 cash prize from Qatar Foundation. Tatai Enrico said, Whoa, that's awesome. I'd love to discover some more uses for malunggay. I think I will. Talk to my science teacher tomorrow and see what else malunggay can do to improve our health, Enrico replied. Hopefully, it will be a habit. We're up at the top of page 17. Hopefully, it will be a habit of every Filipino to reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. During the rainy season, I always worry about flooding and the diseases brought by dirty floodwater, like leptospirosis. Auntie Fatima said. Leptospirosis, oh yes, I remember that one. We talked about it in our science class, Enrico said. Last week, our teacher mentioned that a 15-year-old boy named Armin Hataman invented biodegradable plastic bags made from coconut byproduct, natto coco. not eau de coco. He was just a student when he won the bronze medal in the 2015 International Sustainable World Energy, Engineering and Environment Project Olympiad in Houston, Texas, Arete Fatima said. Tateihuan noticed that suddenly Enrico became quiet. "You all right, Enrico?" Tateihuan said. "Yes, Tatai. I'm just thinking about my science quiz. I just realized that there are so many things that a young person like me can do to make this world a better place," Enrico replied. Tateihuan smiled. "I'm so glad about your realization, Anak. After breakfast, I will study for my quiz and also write my plans for discovering malungai and other herbal plants," Enrico said. Nanai, Marez and Fatima smiled. It was a wonderful Sunday morning. Indeed. There we are. Pictures of Amin Hataman and Ariane Wan Roland. He invented biodegradable plastic bags from a coconut byproduct, and she discovered the tumor-curing properties of malungai leaves. All right. Let me ask you the following questions. What is the story all about? Pause it here and do your own answer, but I'll give you some guiders. The story is about several things, but how young persons can use their talent and skills for the betterment of the community. But find your own words and own answer. Who are the two young Filipino achievers and what are their discoveries? So look through the text. Pause this. Amin Hataman invented biodegradable plastic bags from a coconut byproduct. Ariane Wan Roland discovered the tumor-curing properties of malungai leaves. What is the impact to Enrico of the story of the two young Filipino achievers? Please answer and submit. Well, Enrico was motivated to study for his science quiz and found his purpose. How can you relate the story in your own life? I like a variety of answers, but highlighted is the importance of discovering one's talent and serving others. The good use of our talents and skills will surely positively impact the lives of others and inspire them more to manifest loving care for the world that we live in. Class, let's discuss that the good use of our talents and skills will surely positively impact the lives of others and inspire them more to manifest loving care for the world that we live in. I'd like your comments, please. And now, please, let's read the inflame on page 17. Most of the time when we hear the term talent, we think of amazing basketball or football skills, sublime operatic voices, superb acting skills, and the like. While those are indeed wonderful talents to have, there are other talents that you and other people possess which can be utilized to benefit humanity. The achievement of young Filipino inventors like Amin Hataman and Ariane Wan Roland responds to real-life challenges that are affecting our environment and every living being. The good use of their talent and skills will surely positively impact the lives of thousands and inspire millions more to manifest loving care for the world that we live in. Students, I'd like you to answer the reflection activity on page 18, and then I shall solicit some volunteers to share their answers. First one, do you have a friend, classmate, or a relative who is always ready to help those who are in need? Share a short story of their generosity below. Number 2, do you think it's important for a person to use his or her talents for the benefit of others? Why? 3, were there moments in your life wherein you were able to use your talent and skills to help other people? Share your story below. Students, and now I should like to solicit some volunteers to share their answers. Please do. Now I'd like us to move on to the next exercise, please. Rediscover, page 18. First, let me ask you all about multiple intelligences. Let me ask you students to define, using your own words, the following: talents, skills, and intelligence. So please put that on a separate paper or document, take a screenshot, and then submit that. So it's nice and easy to read, but don't submit the document, please. Just screenshot you can see it straight away. Students, please describe in detail a talent or skill that you possess. Now kindly read multiple intelligences on pages 18 to 20. I'd like to ask you to identify your unique intelligence. Answer and submit. Multiple intelligences is the article. Have you discovered what your talents are? Can you dance, sing, act, or draw? Are you good in sports? Do you think logically? Answer. A developmental psychologist named Dr. Howard Garner found out through extensive research there are 9 kinds of talents and intelligences. Let's get to know them. Are you good with words and find it easy to write stories or poems? Can you express yourself well in writing? If you have excellent verbal skills and are sensitive to the sounds, meanings, and rhythms of words, then you have verbal linguistic intelligence. Do you find math easy? Do you enjoy solving logic or number problems? If you can think conceptually and abstractly with ease, and easily understand logical and numerical patterns, then you have mathematical logical intelligence. Can you play a musical instrument well? Can you easily memorize songs? Can you read and perform music from sheet music without preparation? If you have the ability to produce and appreciate rhythm, pitch, timbre, and harmony, then you have musical intelligence. Just a moment. Can you vividly picture a story that is being told? Can you easily navigate your way using a map? If you have the capacity to think in images and pictures, are good in visualizing things, and can easily recognize patterns, then you have visual spatial intelligence. Do you dance well? Are you good in sports? Do you enjoy creating things with your hands? The ability to control one's bodily movements and to handle objects skillfully is bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Do your friends come to you for advice? Are you a person whom people go to for a shoulder to cry on? Can you see situations from different perspectives? Interpersonal intelligence is the capacity to assess and respond appropriately to the moods, motivations, and desires of those around them. On to page 20. Are you good at analyzing your own strengths and weaknesses? Do you consciously live out your personal values, whatever you do? If you are in tune with your emotional states, values, and beliefs and enjoy self-reflection and analysis, then your intrapersonal intelligence is high. Note the R, the intrapersonal intelligence. It means the inner your within your own person intelligence. That's different to interpersonal. Interpersonal is between people, this one. Interpersonal, between people, and this one, inside a person, inside your heart and mind. It's good, you understand what's going on inside you. Do you enjoy going to botanical gardens, investigating nature, or mountain climbing? Do you feel strongly against the pollution of the earth and the threat of extinction of certain animals? If you have the ability to recognize and categorize plants, animals, and other living things in nature and strive for the preservation of our world, then you have a naturalist intelligence. Do you spend time thinking deep questions like, why are we here? What is the meaning of life? Why do we die? If so, you have existential intelligence, the sensitivity and capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence. Dr. Gardner claims that although we can be intelligent in 2 or more areas, there is one dominant intelligence among the 9 with which we are truly gifted. Activity. Students, I would like to ask you to identify your unique intelligence. So that's something to do, answer and submit as well. Output. For verbal and linguistic intelligence, for example, a student can recite a poem. The output, a musical intelligent person, a student can sing. All right, so that's examples. You identify which one is your intelligence, strong one, the dominant one, and then give an example. You can put it on video, you can put it on audio, you can write it or draw it or something like that. Okay, so just give some example of your talent. Answer that and submit it. 2, everyone has a talent. So the activity, let's discuss the importance of discovering and sharing one's talents and using them for the betterment of the family, community, and hopefully the world. I'd like to kindly ask you students to read pages 20, 21. Everyone has a talent. But first, the activity, yeah. Still wondering what your talents are? This is the text. Are you still wondering what your talents are? Bo Sanchez, a preacher and author, suggests a way to identify your potential. Ask yourself these questions. Where do I excel? What is that one thing I do that blesses people? And on to page 21, we have a journaling my multiple intelligences and talents graph. So there's looking inward, there's seeing others, there's valuing community life, and there's prioritizing God. So myself, looking inward, among the varied multiple intelligences, which do you think is dominant in you? So journal your reflection and be ready for dyad sharing. I think that's a pair, 2 people. Neighbors, seeing others. What will you do if you're in a situation wherein you can help others through your talents? Please elaborate on your answer. My community. How can your talents and skills help solve the problems in your community? And my God. How do your talents and skills help you get closer to God or Nibbana? Okay. I'd like to present to the class the featured virtue, gratitude, by asking, what are you grateful for today? Please put an answer and submit that. What are you grateful for today? What are you really going to say thank you for? Output. I expect answers may vary, but I'd like to emphasize that the blessing can be big or small, and what is important is to give thanks for it. I'd like to solicit some volunteers to share those things that they are grateful for. Valuing a virtue, I'd like to ask you to read on page 21. Valuing a virtue, gratitude. Have you felt grateful for something that you have received? Have you expressed gratitude for the talents that you have? There's those two questions there. Please answer and submit them, your response. Gratitude is a feeling and an attitude in acknowledgement of a benefit that one has received or will receive. We demonstrate our gratitude by being thankful or being appreciative of the things that make us feel grateful. Gratitude is a feeling that emerges within us, but it is also a choice that we make. In fact, some people actually choose to be ungrateful and take for granted all the blessings that they have received. Grateful people, on the other hand, freely choose to acknowledge the many blessings that they have received and appreciate even the best blessings that come their way. The philosopher Cicero averred that gratitude is the parent of all virtues. He meant that a grateful disposition engenders other virtues, such as generosity, humility, and compassion. With this in mind, let us always be grateful and say thank you to the people who bless our lives. So about the trivia on page 21, I'd like to emphasize that talent can be viewed as those things that we are very much inclined to do. The reading activity, the trivia. The term talent came from the Latin word talenta, meaning inclination or leaning towards, the will towards, and desire towards. Hence, our talents are actually those things or activities that we are very much inclined to do. Uplifting Realizations. I'd like to ask students to form a buddy system for the class. The buddy system aims to help students solve problems in school. Example, a student who is mathematical, logical, intelligent can form a group of math buddies that tutors those classmates who are having difficulties in math subjects. Okay? That's a buddy system for the class. That's your performance task, a performance task. And it aims to help. So go ahead and do that, and then show me. Create a group. You can use Messenger group and call it, like the G7 buddies for maths, the G7 buddies for music, G7 buddies for blah, blah, blah. Okay? Go ahead and do that and submit it. I'll be very interested to see, and it'll also be really good to see you creating groups on Messenger by yourself without me having to do it. Right, visual spatial intelligence students can create posters that remind students to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Activity and output. I would like to ask some students to share your plans to the class. Go ahead and do that. Do it, maybe PM it to me and say I want to share it. I'd like to ask you to read page 22, and then we'll answer the points to ponder. Okay, here we go. Uplifting realizations. All of us are gifted with talents or intelligence, and we are called to use them properly to serve our fellow men and make this world a better place. We may be tempted to use our talents for our personal gain, But it is important to remember that we are all called for greatness. One way to achieve true greatness is to use our talents and skills in the service of humanity. Points to ponder. What do you think is your talent or intelligence? Share the ways by which your intelligence, spelling mistake, intelligence is manifested. Answer and submit. If you are finding difficulty in answering the question, ask a close friend or classmate to help you answer the question, where do I excel? What is the one thing that I do that blesses people? Please share your discovery below. So then activity and output. I would like to ask some students to share your answers with the class. PM them to me and tell me you're okay to do that. Then the engagement, bottom of page 22, summative test. Identify the person or the concept that is being described by the following items. Write your answer on the space before the number. 1. This refers to the meaning of the Latin term talenta. 2. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person is in tune with his or her emotional states, values and beliefs, and enjoys self-reflection and analysis. 3. This refers to the parent of all virtues, according to Cicero. 4. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person has the sensitivity and capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence. 5. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person is excellent in verbal skills and is sensitive to the sounds, meanings, and rhythms of words. 6. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person has the ability to produce and appreciate rhythm, pitch, timbre, and harmony. 7. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person has the ability to control his body movements well and to handle objects skillfully. 8. This refers to the kind of capacity to assess and respond to the moods, motivations, and desires of those around them. 9. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person has the ability to recognize and categorize plants, animals, and other living things in nature and strives for the preservation of our world. 10. This refers to the kind of intelligence wherein a person can think in images and pictures, good in visualizing things, and can easily recognize patterns. Everyone has a unique gift. I'd like to call for volunteers to summarize the lesson, please. Dear students, please see page 23, and I'd like to ask you all to do the activity. I'd like to give you all some time to share your answers with your classmates too. Go ahead and do that, and then show me and tell me that you're doing it. B. Everyone has a unique gift. So we're now on page... Oh no, we're not. Page 23. I'd like to call for volunteers to summarize the lesson. Please see page 23 and ask students to do the activity. We'll be giving you students some time to share your answers with your classmates. Now, ready your pencils for this group work. In this group activity, you'll have an opportunity to affirm your classmates' unique gifts and talents. The teacher will divide the class into groups. Write down the names of your group mates in the table which follows. Okay. After you write down the names of your group mates in the table, opposite each name, write the talent or intelligence that you think your classmate is very good at. Under the third column, that's proofs of intelligence. Under the third column, write at least 2 reasons or proofs why you think that is their dominant intelligence or talent. When everyone is done, pass your books clockwise. This is for face-to-face only, or just pass on by messaging, so that your classmates can see what you've written. So there it is. That's page 23. And don't forget to answer and submit. C, we're on to page 24 now. Sharing our gifts. I'd like to ask all of you students to read page 24 and create a plan for using their gifts for the betterment of the community. After, I will ask some students to share your plans to the class. Sharing your gifts. There are many, and this is the text now. There are many opportunities wherein we can share our talents to the family and community. During family gatherings, family members who are good at singing and dancing are asked to do a short presentation. If you have these talents, do not be embarrassed to share them in front of your family members, for in doing so, you are able to spread some love and cheer. In the community, there are programs wherein talented members of the community are asked to entertain people through dancing, singing, or acting. Can you think of a way in which the sharing of one's talents can also become a fundraiser? Imagine that you are a talent director for the town fiesta. Can you organize talented individuals to perform on stage and invite people to watch? What will you do with the proceeds and earnings of the activity? Share your plan in the next table. Okay. So share your plan below in that one. Situational analysis. I'd like to kindly ask you students to do the case study or situational analysis on pages 24 to 25. I'd like to ask some volunteers to share their answers after. That should have a green box, by the way. A super typhoon destroyed the roof of a small parochial school. The whole community is worried that it will take a long time before the roof gets fixed because of a lack of funds. One grade 7 student suggested having a fundraising activity to generate enough money for the roof repairs. What are the possible fundraising activities that the students can pursue for this project? Answer and submit. There they are. And there's that. If you're a student in the school, how can you use your talent and skills to help? Answer and submit. Situation 2. One of your friends is a math wizard. She can solve math problems with ease and can explain them in very simple ways. However, she is very shy. You know that most of your classmates are having difficulties with a certain math topic, and you believe that your friend can help them. But how can you convince your shy friend to be a peer tutor in math? Possible solution 1, possible solution 2. Best solution, and how can you use your talent and skills to help your classmates in need? So situational analysis, we're on to page 25, yeah. I'd like to ask some volunteers to share their answers now. I expect your answers may vary, but I would like to highlight the following. Case 1, we can use our talents to solve our problems as well as help others. Case 2, we can share our gifts with other people and ease their burden. Now, page 26, the scaffolding for the performance task. I'd like to ask you to compose a group of 3 members, which I'll probably do that for you on Messenger. I'd like to ask you to make a photo collage to be produced by a group with 3 members. Make a photo collage composed of 5 to 10 pictures that will show the different kinds of multiple intelligences in your small group. Next, think of a 1-sentence message about the importance of utilizing your talents and skills for the betterment of humanity and put it in the middle of your collage. Consider the following rubrics in accomplishing this task. For 3 points, the collage should be having high quality, be very appealing and skillfully done, selected pictures and highly cohesive, they go together well it means, and highlight each other. Purpose. The output achieves the task objectives successfully and convincingly. And on the other end, 1 point only, collage has a low quality, it's not appealing, it's not skillfully done. And the selected pictures are unrelated, and output does not achieve the task's objectives. Summary, there are 9 types of intelligences: verbal linguistic, mathematical logical, musical, visual spatial, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist, and existential. Everyone has a unique unique intelligence and talent. We can be intelligent in 2 or more areas, but there is one dominant intelligence with which we can say that we are truly gifted. We are called to use our intelligence, talents, and skills to help our fellow men. The quote, "Hide not your talents, they for use were made. What's a sundial in the shade?" From Benjamin Franklin. The closing prayer. Reverently do we pray to Thee, the Holy and Perfect One. We earnestly resolve to understand Thy teaching and to daily tread Thy path. So shall, like Thee, we may attain the peace of Nirvana. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Very well done, grade 7. Looking forward to working together. I'm going to pause the video there.